right, welcome to another season of TBL playoffs. We are in the 2022 playoffs. We've got some usual suspects, we've got some new faces. Tampa Bay winning the Ice Conference. Just 2 seasons removed from a 97-win season, so not super surprising, although they did miss the playoffs last year. On the flip side, we've got Virginia. They've been an interesting team the last 3 years, losing in the championship last year. But, yeah, top team in the Fire Conference. They've got the buys. Let's take a look at the matchups here. We've got Las Vegas and Denver, the two juggernauts. These two have battled at the top of their division for the last couple seasons here, and now they're going to get a first-round matchup. Only one will survive. 6-6. They split the season series. Washington at New York. Washington taking the season series 8-4 over the division rivals. And of course, New York leading the division most of the season here in the Sapphire, getting overtaken by Toronto right at the very end from a tiebreaker. But should be a good series. New York, of course, are defending 2021 champions. Somerville and Toronto is our next matchup. Another division matchup, as we have 4 teams from the Sapphire going to the playoffs this year. Seems like a pretty rare thing. Toronto won 8-4 the season series. We'll see how this plays out. Somerville, a perennial all-star GM. Didn't think they were going to make it this year. They looked like they were on the outside looking in, and they got hot down the stretch. Maybe that carries over into the playoffs. And Toronto made a ton of huge deadline trades. Really shipped away a lot of assets to bring in pieces, and it paid off. They made a really nice late season push. Let's see if that can continue over here into the postseason. We've got the Bighorn Rams and Johnny taking on my Paddlers, and I've been in the playoffs a lot. Haven't won for a while now. It's been 4, 5, 6 years since my championship. I did win the season series 7-5, but this should be a pretty even matchup. You'll see the least runs against in the league, the Bighorn Rams over there. We've got the Huron Herons, Daniel, bringing this team back again to the playoffs. Kind of an underwhelming season for the Herons, but still have that solid core. And George and the St. Louis Steam having a great season, upsetting all the critics. Looking back on the preseason predictions here, Daniel, Michael, and myself all had the Steam finishing in 7th place. So congratulations, George, on a great season. And just a quick note, George has been here for 22 years now, 22 seasons. He's an OG. He's announced he's stepping away after this season, so we're definitely going to miss him. So if I don't win the championship, I am certainly rooting for George to make a deep run. And of course, he's always welcome back. And then the final matchup for the evening, we've got the San Diego Seals taking on the San Antonio Chile Picantes. And really, the Chiles Picantes have been maybe the team to beat in the Fire Conference this year, although they didn't, Virginia did win the overall best record. They've got a killer run differential. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Oh, or not. Expand this. Here we go. So yeah, 223 runs in terms of run differential. As a matter of fact, you'll kind of see all the deserving teams got in, all the teams with a positive run differential, except for Huron had kind of an off season and beat out Kansas City and Oklahoma City. I think the big disappointments of the season, Kansas City missing the playoffs. They had a really nice season. They were the number 1 overall seed last year. Just choked kind of down. Didn't choke. They made a run down the stretch and then got cold and then didn't get hot again in time. And then, of course, looking here as well, New Orleans Mudcats just missing the postseason, 83-79 season. So, yeah, I think a lot of usual suspects. I think Galveston was a postseason team last year as well, so they missed. But yeah, excited to see what these teams can do this year. Let's not go too far into what happened. And we'll get things started. Starting things off for New York on the mound, Carlos Ramirez. And starting the game for Toronto at home is Matt McKnight. Bobby Uhas hits a solo home run for Washington, getting the scoring started early. Got to give Steve some credit this year. His team in the postseason again with a really low budget. I was taking a look at them earlier. I'm not going to stray too far here, but he's got not a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money. 2 on, nobody out for this team, but a double play by Domini. And bases loaded, and it turns into runs for the Empire in the second inning. Jim Hendler triples in 3, clearing the bases, and then Mark Denton with a 2-run home run, and they have a 5-1 lead now on Washington in the second. San Diego strikes first against San Antonio, 1-0 in the first. John Ireland singles. Slow down here, lots going on. Jason Bassett's driving in the first run for Las Vegas over Denver, and Oahu on the board first, 2-run homer by the catcher Kareem Burke. Seals now have 3 runs on the road against San Antonio. They added on a sac fly and a single all in the first inning. That game's now in the third. It's 3-3. The Bighorn Rams have struck back against the Paddlers. Toronto up 1-0 in the 6th. First to strike in that game. Seals extended to 4-0. Huron with a 5-2 lead on St. Louis. That game in the 5th. Xavier Simmons had a 2-run home run for St. Louis to get a couple of runs back. A 3-run homer by Brian Glasscock in the 4th, and 2-run homer by Danny Preciado scoring in that one. And Las Vegas up 5-1 on Denver. I've kind of missed the scoring here. Malley, 3-run homer, bunch of big hits. That game is still early. Bighorn takes the lead 4-3 in the 6th. Sac fly by Bob Smith, driving in Johnston. And a solo home run gets it within 1 now. St. Louis down 5-4 in the 6th. Denver gets a couple back. Pedroza and Wilder with hits to make it 5-3. And San Diego extends the lead 5-0 on a Huber home run. New York got a comfortable lead 7-1 in the 7th over the Generals. And the Rams extend their lead in the 7th with a double by McPeak, driving in Molina. Simmons singles in Cummings, and that is a 5-5 game in the 7th inning. We'll slow down. We're late in some of these games. We've got a final actually in Toronto, 1-0 that snuck away from me there. But the Griffins in a pitching duel get game 1 at home over Somerville. Tied going to the bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. Paddlers down to their final 6 outs, down by 2 at home against the Rams. And Washington 2 on 2 out, but they're down by 6 in the 8th inning of that game. So just looking at the starters for Somerville, 6 innings pitched, just the 1 run for Ryan Lewis, and he'll take the loss. Matt McKnight went 5 innings pitched. Shutout baseball. Win goes to the bullpen. That run came late, I think. Yeah, in the 6th inning. That John Sylvia home run. The difference in that game. Huron, Jorge Lopez singles in the 9th inning. Glasscock scores, and they lead 6-5 in St. Louis. The Rams take game 1 on the road, beating the Paddlers 5-3. 3 outs left for the Steam up in the 9th now. Last 3 outs for the Generals here, down by 6. Final in St. Louis. Herons take game 1 on the road 6-5. And the Seals up 7-0 now on the road. Have this game well in hand in the 8th inning. Denver down by 2 in the 7th. 2 out, man on 3rd. It's going to be a pinch hitter in Brian Hall, but he lines out. On to the 8th we go in that game. Las Vegas up by 2. First 2 runners on for the Dynamite in the 8th, but a ground out and then a double play. On to the 9th we go. Las Vegas 5, Denver 3. Bryce Dragic, 7.1 innings pitched. No runs allowed against San Antonio, and the Seals do take game 1 on the road 7-0. Shutout effort behind the pitching staff. Joining the Griffins. High Rollers trying to add some insurance here. Last game still playing. Bases loaded for Rosario. He's going to single in a run. That's some insurance. 6-3 now. Chris Lane strikes out swinging, but a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom half. We're looking at maybe 4 out of the 6 games being won by the road team here in game 1. Chris Stewart doubles, keeping the Dynamite alive. But that will do it. Las Vegas does take game 1, 6-3. I'm almost shocked. I feel like there were no injuries. Everybody got injured in the regular season. There's no one left to get injured in game 1. All right, here we go. Bighorn and Oahu out of the gate, along with Somerville and Toronto. Juan Martinez on the mound for Oahu. Raul Rodriguez for the Rams. I'm actually kind of stumped how to say the last name of the Griffins pitcher. Jose Vixio. I'm gonna go with Vixio. Just make up a sound. So Jose pitching for the Griffins and Jace Ingham for the money line. Bighorn strikes first. Single, sac fly, single in the second. 3-0 over the Paddlers. And a sac fly by the money line in the first, and they lead 1-0. Paddlers strike back. Tony gets one in, making it 3-1. And then a Kareem Burke 3-run homer. It's 4-3 Paddlers in the second inning. Heron strike first against St. Louis. Single and a ground out. That's 2-0 in the first inning. As that game is now underway, we've got San Diego and San Antonio underway as well. Adam Wilson 2-run homer in the first inning. Gets the scoring started there, so the Seals strike first again. Frank Lanier singles in Martinez. That game's tied 1-1 in the third, and Mike Stewart 3-run homer puts the Steam in the lead in the first. Make it 5-2 now after Cyric Gake. It's a 2-run home run. Toronto takes the lead in the third inning. Sylvia sacrifice fly, driving in sack. Las Vegas and Denver underway. Sean Hall solo home run gives the High Rollers the 1-0 lead. Scoreless in the second in New York, between Washington and New York. Lothar solo home run, and San Antonio gets their first run of the playoffs here. They now trail 2-1. Bighorn 2-run home run. They are now up 5-4 on the fifth against the Paddlers, and the Dynamite tied up 1-1 on a Kevin Porter solo home run in the second. Thomas Tapia solo home run. They tie it 2-2 against the Seals, and then Denver sneaks into the lead. Matt Baralaza doubles in Stewart. Adigio Marinelli singles in Babiola. 5-5 that game in the fifth now, and St. Louis up 6-2 as Robert Santos singles to extend the lead. Torricelli grounds into a fielder's choice. Griffins add another. They now lead by 2, 3-1. Brian Gore solo home run gets that game a little closer. It's now 3-2 in the seventh inning. Got three ties and 2 one-run games. St. Louis up by 4, but that game's still early as well. The Rams take the lead again. Alex Reyes singles in Nickerson. That game has been back and forth. Jamie Morrison singles in Tapia. And now the Chiles Picantes erase the 2-0 lead. They are up 3-2 in the sixth inning. Ken Taylor singles in a run for the Herons. That's now 6-3 in the fifth. Scoreless still in the 5th in New York, Washington, and the Empire. Both those pitchers pitching well. Toronto now up 5-2, make it 6-2. Couple singles, driving in 3 runs, and they lead by 4. Meanwhile, Chiles Picante is doing the same thing to the Seals. Lothar singles in 1, and then Sullivan drives in 2 on a double. They're up by 4. The Rams in the 8th extend the lead on the Paddlers. McPeak singles in Harrison, and they've got 2 on and nobody out, threatening for more. And they get more. 3-run homer Brian Johnston and a solo home run Joe Nickerson, and it's 11-5 Bighorn. Paddlers about to lose 2 at home here in the opening round. Denver extending the lead 3-1. Frank Pedroza solo home run. Speeded up the early games aren't close. San Antonio piling on now. 9 straight runs unanswered in the 7th, up 9-2. St. Louis beats the Herons to tie the series 1-1, 7-3. Sorry, my mouse died here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Toronto wins 6-2. They now have a 2-0 series lead over Somerville. The Rams win 12-5, and they have a 2-0 series lead. And San Antonio ties the series 1-1. Meanwhile, New York, 1-0 lead on Washington here in the 9th. And the tying runs on first, but that'll do it. The Empire take that 1-0 lead, and they lead 2-0 in the series. Meanwhile, last out for the High Rollers. Tying run at the plate now in Malley after Danny Garcia walks. And that will do it. Denver wins 3-1. And they tie the series 1-1. I'm going to see if I can fix my mouse real quick, and then we'll go on to game 3. Okay, we're back. All right, starting things off, St. Louis Huron, Oahu Bighorn. Paddlers strike first. Israel Esparza singles in Magana. Ken Taylor grand slam in the first inning, and the Herons lead 4-0. Right now we've got 3 split series, and we've got 3 2-0 series leads. Bighorn, Toronto, and New York all with the lead. 2-0. Bighorn at home with the lead. The other 2 teams defending home and now on the road. 2-1, nobody out for the Paddlers. San Antonio strikes first against the Seals. Founce doubles in Sullivan's 1-0 in that game. And that game's underway along with the Denver-Las Vegas game. Morrison doubles in Founce. It's now 2-0 in the first. Sac fly by Jose Quintanilla, and Denver leads 1-0 in the second inning over Las Vegas. Toronto strikes first against Somerville. John Sylvia solo home run. If you remember, it was a John Sylvia solo home run in the game 1 that won that game 1-0 for the Griffins. Seals get on the board. Gaona hits a sac fly driving in Wilson, and then Vaclav Mali 2-run home run for the High Rollers. They now lead Denver 2-1 in the second. Brian Glasscock leaves the game with an injury. So does Melvin Graham for Somerville. And the Toronto-Somerville game underway. So is the New York-Washington game here. New York and Washington, this series is quietly moving along. Toronto 2-0. John Smith singles in Eaton, and then make it 3-0. John Sylvia strikes again, looking for an MVP. 3-0. Washington on the board first in the second. Jose Soto 3-run home run, and then an Eric Bernu solo home run. They're up 4-0. Meanwhile, the Herons get another one. Jorge Alzugare solo home run makes it 5-0 in the fifth. 2-run homer by Justin McPeak, and the Rams now have a 2-1 lead in the fifth. And Somerville gets 2 on a pair of singles. They now trail 3-2 in the second inning to the Griffins. The Herons game is 2 innings ahead, almost 2 innings ahead of the Bighorn game, and they started at the same time. We'll slow it down since that game is in the 8th. It is 5-0. Yeah, we'll keep it going. It's 5-0. We'll wait till one of the closer games hits the late window. Mike Davis, 2-run home run. Somerville 4-3 over the Griffins in the 3rd inning. So 3-0 to 4-3. They march all the way back. Still in the first third of that game. Miguel Pera, 7 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts. Just noticing that for the Herons. Vintage Miguel Pera performance. James Dominy singles in the first run for St. Louis. It's now 5-1. They're going to be down to their final 3 outs in that game. And we are in the late window now in a couple more games. Somerville extends the lead 5-3 over the Griffins. That game somehow in the 4th. I don't know if there's a delay there. I didn't see. Mike Stewart solo home run, and it's now 5-2. Still a 3-run deficit here in the 9th inning. This team are going to need a pretty miraculous comeback. Tyler Wilkson walks. Strikeouts, and it's going to be down to the last out for the Steam. It's going to be pinch hitter Davis. Rashad Davis walks, so the tying run will come to the plate in Kidd. 0 for 3 on the day. And that'll do it. Herons win game 3. Meanwhile, 2 on, 2 out for the Paddlers. In the 8th, down by 1. They get 1 back on an Esparza ground out, but they're not going to be able to get any more. Las Vegas chips back. Down 4-3, Sean Hall singles, and then a grand slam by Jason Bassett. And that is a 7-4 game in the 7th inning. 5 runs by the High Rollers to flip the script on that game. San Antonio takes the lead in the 8th, 3-2. Danny Guzman solos. Last 3 outs for the Paddlers, down 3-2, maybe in a 3-0 series deficit if they can't score here. Somerville extends the lead 6-3. Mark Ross solo home run. Las Vegas extends the lead on a hit by pitch with the bases loaded. And Jesse Harnaugh gets New York on the board. Joe Jones hit by the pitch, so Magana's going to be at the plate. And he can't get it done. Bighorn wins 3-2, and they lead the series 3-0. San Antonio gets 2 runs in the 8th. 2 more runs in the 8th on a triple and a single. They lead 5-2 going into the 9th inning of that game. Going to the bottom of the 8th. The Seals have 2 on, nobody out, trying to respond. New York scores another run in error. They're going to be down by 2 going into the bottom of the 7th over there. And the Seals do get 2 on an Adam Wilson double, driving in Cook and Ireland. It's 5-4 in the 8th, and they have the man on second. Tying run with just 1 out. John Sylvia singles in another run for Toronto. It's now 6-4. They cut the lead to 2. Noftal strikes out swinging. Gaona strikes out looking, and the Chiles Picantes retain the lead. It's now 5-4 as we go to the 9th. Meanwhile, Washington extends the lead 5-2 on a Bobby Uhas sac fly. We've got a final in Las Vegas 8-4. The High Rollers beat the Dynamite, and they take the 2-1 series lead. Bases loaded for the money line with just 1 out in the bottom of the 7th here, trying to add some insurance on that 6-4 lead that they have. And they do. They get a sac fly by Mike Davis. It's now 7-4. 2-1 for San Antonio. Danny Kuzman pops out, so 3 outs left for the Seals here in Game 3. Down by 1 at home. First 2 runners on for the Seals. Gilliland flies out. It's going to bring up Cook. Cook strikes out swinging. Ireland 3 for 4 in the game. He can't get it done. So Chili's Picantes take Game 3. They lead the series 2-1. 2 outs left for the Empire here, down 5-2. Generals trying to get their first win of the series. And they do. That is now a 2-1 series in New York's favor, but home teams won every game so far. Meanwhile, Somerville trying to do the exact same thing, trying to get that first win at home. 2 outs left for Toronto. We will sim game 4, and then I plan to run games 5 through 7 tomorrow morning, probably around 10 or 11 a.m. If people are on tonight, feel free to shoot me a message, and we can maybe wrap up tonight. I'm going to be watching the UFC fight, so definitely going to be up. But I think standard from what we're going to do moving forward, playoffs, we'll do a 9 p.m. and then we'll do the next morning. We'll do an evening, a morning, kind of just keep going like that. So just taking a look at that injury real quick. Brian Glasscock, day-to-day, 1 week, sore ankle. Somerville moneyline, I didn't see Melvin Graham get injured, but he got injured throwing the ball. He's going to miss about 6 weeks, the left fielder. And bad news for Kansas City Scouts, not in the playoffs, but Enrique Rodriguez suffers a setback in recovery. Going to miss 15 more months. Yikes. All right, here we go. Game 4. St. Louis and Huron starting us off, and San Antonio, San Diego. St. Louis strikes first. Xavier Simmons, 2-run home run. Denver and Las Vegas underway, as is New York and Washington. Patrick Saul singles in Zuniga. Washington up 1-0 on the Empire. Las Vegas. Christian Laredo doubling in Erstad. That's a 1-0 game in the first. Bases loaded for the High Rollers. 2 out. And they get the big hit by Ramon Rosario. Driving in 3. It's 4-0 quickly in that game. Toronto strikes first on a Jose Rosales solo home run in the first inning, and John Ireland 2-run homer for the Seals in the third. They have the lead there. Toronto, Somerville, and Oahu Bighorn now underway. Bases loaded, one out for Somerville in the first. They can't score. Tim Doherty, solo home run for Denver, and they're on the board. It's now 4-1. So they try to chip away at the early Las Vegas lead. St. Louis, wild pitch scores Santos, and then Xavier Simmons strikes again. Tyler Wilkson follows that up with a single. So Small Ball and the Steam have a 5-1 lead. Tim Connolly leaves the game with an injury for Washington. We'll look that one up when we can. Javi Cruz, 2-run home run as soon as the injury happened. 2-1 in the fourth. Paddlers strike first. Steve Magano singles in Martinez. It's 1-0 in the third, and the Seals extend their lead 3-0. Quinton Cook with a solo home run. Rams get right back. Matt Saeli, solo home run. Double play adds another for the High Rollers, and then a double for the Empire, followed by a single. It's Hendler and Lozano. It's 4-1 in that game in the fifth. Paddlers get back on top. Oscar Fernandez, 2-run home run. It's 3-1 in the fourth. And we are late into one of these games. The Seals with that 3-2 lead. Danny Estrada hit a 2-run home run to get San Antonio closer. So it's a 3-2 lead in the eighth. Meanwhile, Bob Smith's solo home run gets the Rams closer, and then a pass ball ties that game in the fourth. It's 3-3 as we go to the fifth. High Rollers now up by 6. Malley singles in 2 more. And the Herons, Jordan Sanchez singles in 2 in the 6th. That's a 5-3 game now. Paddlers on top again. Kareem Burke, solo home run. 3rd home run of the series for Burke. He was a trade pickup this year from Montreal, I believe. So in the 8th inning, Seals up by 1, 3 outs left for the Chilis Picantes in game 4. Danny Guzman hit by pitch, so the tying run is on. He moves to second on a ground out. And Tommy Brown doubles in Guzman. The Chilis Picantes tie it at 3 in the 9th inning. They're not done yet. There is a pitching change. Metzger is coming in the game to face Estrada. But there's a runner on second. And Estrada strikes out swinging, so Metzger gets the job done. On to the bottom half of the 9th we go in that game. Meanwhile, the Herons game starting to catch up. We're on the bottom of the 8th there. 6 outs left for Huron. Toronto quietly with a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning against Somerville. Second and third for the Herons. Tying run being the one on second. Fielder's choice. Looks like they got him at the plate. So there's 2 down in that game. A walk to Preciado. It's going to bring up Ramirez. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Ramirez strikes out swinging. On to the 9th we go. Meanwhile, we're in the 10th in San Diego as the Chilis Picantes come to the plate. 8th inning, Generals down by 3. They've got the leadoff runner on after a Mariscal double. And a 3-run homer by Danny Guzman gives Darryl and San Antonio a big lead here as we go to the bottom of the 10th. They're looking to take a 3-1 series lead. Washington, Mike Best doubles in Mariscal, so they are trying to get back in this one. It's now 4-2, tying run at the plate. Bases loaded, 1 out for Toronto, and they get 1 across on a walk, and they're threatening for more. Brian sack fly, so 3-0 now in the 6th. Meanwhile, Washington scores again. Patrick Saul singles in Best. It's 4-3, but we go to the 9th inning in that game as the side is eventually retired. And St. Louis gets an important insurance run in the 9th. They now lead 6-3 on an error. San Antonio hangs on to win that game 6-3 in the 10th. So now they lead 3-1 in the series. Daniel Mullen, solo home run in the 9th inning. It gives them an insurance run over Washington. And on second for the Herons. They're down to their final out. And we go to the 9th in Bighorn as well. Paddlers trying to survive in the series. They lead 4-3. St. Louis wins. They tied the series up 2-2. Paddlers at first and third, nobody out, but a fielder's choice at home. That's the first out. Kareem Burke singles in Tony. Big insurance run in the 9th. It's now 5-3 Paddlers. And it's a final in Washington. The Empire, the defending champions, win 5-3. They now lead 3-1 in that series. Last 3 outs for the Rams. It's final in Las Vegas, 7-2, and they take the 3-1 series lead. Tying run at the plate. It's Nickerson, he grounds into a fielder's choice. It's going to bring up Schaefer with 2 down, and that'll do it. The Paddlers stay alive. They win 5-3. They trail in the series 3-1. So we've got a bunch of 3-1s and a 2-2 series in St. Louis and Huron. Meanwhile, Toronto trying to take a 3-0 series lead, but this game is a 3-1 series lead. This game is lagging behind a little bit. We're just going into the 8th. It's a 3-run game. If we get some base runners, I'll slow it down. And we do right away. So, leadoff double for Torricelli. Oh, this is on the Toronto side, though. 3 straight strikeouts for the Griffins after the double, and on to the bottom of the 8th we go. Somerville got a pitching change. Con in the game for Toronto. And 1-2-3 go the money line. So on to the 9th we go. 3-0 Griffins lead. Bullpen's doing work. We'll slow down for the last 3 outs. Let's see if Somerville can muster some offense. Looking to be shut out for the second time in 4 games against Toronto. Davis grounds out. Mark Ross pinch hits. He strikes out swinging. That's going to bring up Ryan Roach. He singles. So Chris Sampson, actually don't think that's his name, but Sampson at the plate. And he doesn't get it done. That is going to end the game. Toronto wins 3-0. And again, they take the 3-0 series lead. Let's finish today. Let's take a look at where we're at. And then let's drop the file. Happy to be alive. Happy to not be eliminated. Oh, yeah. All right, like I said, drop in the file if anybody wants. I mean, if everybody's here, we'll run it again tonight.